So this is Pasadena's famous suicide bridge. It's the Colorado Bridge, but unfortunately, it's got nothing but a bad reputation for people committing suicide. Over 150 people have committed suicide off this bridge. Bridges. There's so many urban legends about bridges. So much mystery gets wrapped up in bridges. But what about this bridge right here in Pasadena? The suicide bridge. Bridges have this historic urban legend thing about them. Literally all over the world, there's tales of bridges, everything from trolls to hauntings, on and on and on. I did another video about the Charman, who supposedly haunts a bridge in Santa Paula. I'll leave a link to that video right here. The Pasadena Bridge was finished on December 13th, 1913. A lot of 13s in there, coincidentally. And before it had even been completed, a construction worker fell to his death off this bridge. And supposedly he fell into wet cement. And he's still here today and haunts the bridge. So it turns out that the man that fell off the bridge, the construction worker, and fell into wet cement and died and is still there to today is not true. It is urban legend. And that's the thing that's so unfortunate. Of course, there's always going to be tales of hauntings, and who's to say that there isn't? But to actually twist the facts is a whole nother thing. Now, I'll tell you where some of this urban legend may have come from. Lauren Parker actually dug up some information, and there was a guy by the name of Norman Clark who was employed by the county, and he fell down a 40-foot embankment, and he was hurt, and he was pretty banged up, but he did not die. Jerome Mullaney was hired by the Force of Carpenters. He was a carpenter, and he fell some 15 feet only, but he fractured his skull, and it actually put him in critical condition for quite a while. Whether he ever died from that, I don't know, but he did not fall into wet cement. Harry Collins, probably one of the workers, actually fell into the wet cement. There was a guy that did fall into the wet cement, and he was in critical condition from that, but he did not die there at the bridge. There was also a report that there was a man that was discovered in the concrete, one of his arms hanging out, and there was this whole upheaval about it. And it turns out that one of the foremen on the job said, you know what, that's just a big rumor, because that's just not true. So we can see how this particular urban legend works, at least the part about the man who was working on the bridge and fell to his death into soft concrete that was not yet cured, and they could recover the body, and he's there forever, and he haunts the bridge. That's just not true. So what workers did die working on the bridge? As far as what I can find, and with the newspapers, etc., none that were working on the original construction of the bridge. But there was much more interesting people that had committed suicide there that don't really need any kind of urban legend to go with it. There was a 70-year-old man who paid a passerby 50 cents. He gave him this note and said, here's 50 cents, please go to the sheriff and tell them that they need to read this note, please. And then he committed suicide off the bridge. In that note, it specified who should be contacted to take the body and to have it cremated. And he also left a little note, and the note read, farewell, beautiful Pasadena, I love you so well. A number of suicides spiked definitely during the Depression. In 1937, a woman wanted to commit suicide. That was probably towards the end of the Depression, and what she did was she came and threw her baby over the bridge and then jumped to her death. Only the baby landed in a tree and survived. People say that certain nights you can hear a baby crying. But the baby did live. Just recently, in 2017, there was 9 deaths on this bridge, and in 2018, there was 4. Sam Sarpong, a former model and celebrity host from the show Yo Mama, committed suicide off that Colorado Street Bridge, but it wasn't immediate. The police spent close to 7 hours trying to talk him off the bridge, and he finally jumped. What a waste. He was only 40 years old. The city plans to create even higher barriers so people can't commit suicide. The police actually, this past year, did talk a would-be jumper off the bridge. It took them 13 hours to talk the guy off the bridge. That's some pretty freaking cool law enforcement. And as you can see, there's suicide hotline numbers that you can call if you feel suicidal. And that's one thing I want to point out right off the bat is that, you know, if you do need help, make sure to get help. There's no shame in that. I definitely hope that this helps some people. That bridge is probably very haunted when you have over 150 people who have committed suicide for various reasons off of one bridge since 1913, you can expect that there's some restless spirits. It just goes to show you that you never really completely know what's going on in somebody's head. I didn't set out for this video to be a public service message for anti-suicide, but as I got more into this story, I realized that the more important note in all of this is if you know somebody that's feeling bad or having thoughts of suicide, or if you yourself feel that way, you feel alone, you know, get help. There's crisis hotlines. You can quietly go and have conversations and get out of that state of mind. And I really advise that people do that and take people seriously who do say they're going to commit suicide. And those people that say they're going to but have no intention to, you're doing such a disservice to so many people. For some reason you feel suicidal, get some help. In the meantime, take care of each other and keep rock alive.